Alright, g'day people. Hello again. Welcome to the next tutorial. We are moving on to can jams. Before I get onto that, I'd just like to say thank you so much for all the views and shares. It's been fantastic. I actually didn't realise that I was going to get so much of a response the first time round. So thank you very much for that. And I'd love for you to keep sharing these videos with other people so you can spread the love and help other people progress in their riding too. So I can just put them up. You guys can certainly get it out there. So that would be great. Thank you. Please continue. Anyway, so let's get straight into it. Can jam. Can jam is obviously a bit more advanced than the foot jam. It's not too much harder though, but I will say this, between the can jam and the front jam, where the foot goes around the front of the bike, people find it easier depending just on the individual. I personally found front jams 100 times easier than can jams. It took me much longer to learn can jams, but when I was learning them, 90% of the people I was riding with did can jams first. So it really just comes down to the individual as to how hard or easy this will be. So don't be dismayed if you don't get it straight away. The front jam may very much be more your type of trick, so don't stress too hard on that. But have a listen, let's see what we can do. So, first thing you want to do when learning the can jam is you want to get the idea of how to actually jump into can jam. It's a strange motion. It's like it's a can-can. It's a can-can foot jam. So if you don't know actually how to even jump over into can-can yet, a good way to start is by rolling up to the quarter with your foot already over the frame in a can-can. Once you've rolled up, you land in a can plant. Once you've done the can plant, you then just step back in and roll in still can-can. It's super easy. You can practice this on a bank. It doesn't have to be in a quarter. It's just to get the idea of being on the inside of the bike. Next thing you want to do is start thinking about jumping into that can plant. Now that you've got the idea of where to lean, what you want to do is you want to ride up the ramp about the same speed for a foot jam, maybe slightly faster. And as you pull up and over into it, you just lift up, put the foot across and land with your foot down. You don't need to try and get back in just yet. Just work on getting that foot up and over the frame and down onto the ground. Don't even try and spin on this. The spinning actually increases the difficulty, so just go nice and straight on a fly out and just do a can-can and land with the foot on the ground. Landing with your foot on the ground is actually a really good way of understanding what it's going to feel like when you land the can jam. When you come up to land in the actual can jam, if you've already got the idea of, okay, I'm going to be standing on one foot, this will really help with this and it'll make the actual hop in much easier. From there, once you've got that sorted, you want to work on coming up, doing a can plant, and then as you step back in, you want to pull that foot up and over and back onto the pedal. It's an easy motion. Again, you can practice it on banks. It doesn't matter. This is just working up to the actual can jam itself. So just take some time on this step and really perfect the art of jumping off the bike over, landing with your foot down, and then jumping back in and getting that foot back over and nice and solid back on the pedal. Now that you've done that, let's move on to the can jam. So, first thing is the actual carve itself is exactly like a foot jam. You come up on an angle, you lean forward, you lean in, and then you hop back in. That doesn't change. However, the actual lean itself is now in more, because when you think about it, when you did the foot jam, your foot was outside. It was on the other side of the bike. Now that your foot's on the inside of the bike, you're going to have to actually find yourself leaning in more. So you have to have more inward commitment than what you do on the foot jam. Once you've done that part, all you have to do is focus on getting your foot in the tire. Now, I've got a really good tip for you guys here, and it's really, really simple. All you have to do is, instead of thinking, oh, this is so hard, I can't get my foot in under the frame, turn your bars out. People struggle with this so much, and it's the easiest tip in the world. All you have to do is turn your bars out. You turn your bars out, it all of a sudden opens up all this space for you to put your foot in the wheel. So as you come up, you jump up the ramp, bring your foot over like you're going for the can plant, but instead turn your bars out. Keep your eyes firmly on the tyre, and as soon as you see it, drop that foot in. And assuming that your weight is forward and in, you'll actually rock up into that Canjam position really nicely. Now, a really good thing about this is it's an easy trick to crash. And by easy trick to crash, I mean that if something's going wrong, you just let go. Because all of you is on one side of the bike, it means that you can just let go. The bike falls one way and you fall the other. There's no real chance of you getting hurt in this. It's a really, really comfortable trick. And that was the one thing that I really liked about the Canjam. The fact that you could actually gently crash and not, if you don't even, you just put your bike down and basically run away from it. It's great. So once you've got that idea, you're turning your bars out, you're leaning forward, you're leaning in, and then you push off, same as you would with the can plant. Thinking back to that, how do you jump in? Same motion, and you jump in, put your foot over the frame, and roll away. A couple of pointers is you don't actually want to turn too much. If you turn too much in this trick, you'll actually find the tail wanting to swing away in a foot jam whip. That is immensely frustrating. I had a lot of trouble with that. I know a lot of people who do have a lot of trouble with this. So the idea of how to fix that kind of whiplash feel is jump over and go really straight. You want to be almost on a 45-degree angle, because on that motion, there's not as much rotational weight going on. So that means your tail isn't going to want to kick away straight away. So jump up onto it and go on more of a 45 than a 90-degree. Another thing that'll help is visualizing that you're actually riding barefoot. If you were riding barefoot, you could cup the pedals with your toes, correct? You could fold your toes over the end to help hold on. That actually works. And by cupping those toes, you will have a firmer hold on the pedal, and that will help stop the tail swing away. Something else that'll help is if you want to wait a second. A lot of people, when they're trying these tricks, they try and jump straight into it and then jump straight back out. They really try and rush it. You want to wait. You really want to take your time, because if you try and rush it, you don't have any of that compress from the tire to help you bounce back in. So wait a second and then bounce. And the last thing I can say is that you want to keep it as close to the coping as possible. Because the Canjam's in an awkward position and you're kind of forward and up over the frame, you want to be within about an inch or two of the coping. You've probably seen people do it where they're a foot and a half out sort of thing, but they understand how the pops work. To really learn this trick well, you want to start as close to the coping as possible. I know it's going to be scary, but you will reap the benefits from it, because just being so much closer just makes that hop in 100 times easier. Alright, so that concludes the Canjam. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just drop it down in the comments. I will reply. I'll try my best this coming week. I'm actually flying out for work for the next week over in Perth. So I may be a little bit absent. That's okay though. Yeah, just leave that comment. Remember to like and subscribe. Show your support for this, because I want to know I'm doing well. And finally, I'd just like to let everyone know that the current trick that will be taught after this series of foot jams at the moment will be the backflip. It has 3 likes. If you want to see the backflip be taught next, by all means, drop a like on that comment. Leave a comment yourself, I don't mind. But keep the likes coming. I'd love to see what you guys want to see next. Thank you again for all your support, and I will catch you next time. See ya.